Or perhaps you just need a break because you're so tired from everything that's happening in your life and you cannot find the way that you can organize that break. People are not supporting you, people don't understand you, plus you are changing inside and out, and you might be going from tears to feeling excited to feeling grateful to again back to tears when you're going through identity transition. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you're familiar with my content. My name is Elmira Strange. I'm a psychologist and a creator of online courses for the last 10 years. My courses are related to psychology, spirituality, and so on. And before that, I was a lecturer at university, and mainly, actually, I was a researcher in psychology. And one of my main projects at that time, and that was many years ago, it was all about stress, the symptoms of stress, what causing us stress, how it manifests, and what kind of reasons or sources of stress we experience day to day. At that time, I was also looking at families with children with various disabilities, and to see how they are coping with stress. And that was my project at that time. So from then on, of course, I am interested to see how people deal with stress from day to day. Stress is one of the evergreen topics. It never goes away. In fact, it seems like it's getting worse. Well, we can say it's getting worse, but at the same time, there were times in history when people experienced a great deal of stress because of war, because of some economic failure in the country, because of various things, tsunami, natural disasters, and so on. So the sources of stress can be different, but the stress, nevertheless, affects the body like it always has. We have physical responses such as adrenaline goes higher, the cortisol levels are also high, which means it causes various inflammations in the body. It activates various dormitory problems with health, especially if it's an autoimmune disorder that can be activated because of constant stress and so on. What kind of stress do we have? Well, the main thing we know that we have acute stress and we have chronic stress. We have stress that is longer duration, we have stress that is shorter duration. And there are certain types of stress you wouldn't even think about. For example, let's say you're preparing for a birthday party. It's a big date and it's one of your friends or perhaps your own. So you have to choose the venue, you have to choose your dress, you have to choose the circle of friends that you're inviting, especially if it's your birthday party, right? And what kind of food and drinks you will be consuming at that day. And what else in that program might be interesting to you and to your guests. So all that is exciting, but at the same time, it creates stress. Perhaps you find that you cannot even sleep well. You're constantly thinking about it. The way you behave and act and talk, it becomes faster. It seems like your thought process are going so much higher and so much faster. This all is stress. It impacts your body in the same way than if you had stress from, for example, working on your next project where you have deadline and where you have boss is asking you where you are in that project. It can be both positive or negative. Nevertheless, it causes the same responses in the physiology. Acute stress, for example, that is if something happened once. For example, there was some accident. Somebody got hurt, and that impacts the whole group, family, friends, neighbors, and so on, especially if the person is in a pretty bad condition and everybody knows about it. So that creates stress in you already, just thinking about it. Of course, if there is a death in the family or anything else, that's acute stress. As we say, there is a positive stress, which we call eustress, and that could be acute as well. Preparing for a wedding, for example, or buying a new car or a house. All your thoughts will be about your new purchase. All your planning would be around that big purchase. And that again creates stress in the body. And of course, we have some chronic type of stress. This is when you're working constantly and you're constantly getting tired. Or perhaps you have a family and children that are unwell or not sleeping well. And that is causing your chronic stress, undermining your health day in, day out. Chronic stress, if it's something goes repeatedly and it affects you, not in a positive way, because let's face it, the only thing that can affect you in a positive way, it's, like I said, that type of stress where you're preparing for something interesting and exciting, like a holiday that you're planning. Because again, this is also stress, but at least you are looking forward to it. So you psychologically transforming it into something more positive than negative. So here, 10 hidden symptoms that you are under stress and that you need to take some measures and do something about it. First one is you wake up tired even after sleeping, so you cannot get recharged during the sleep. Second, you lose motivation or feel numb. No matter how exciting the project is, you don't have much motivation or energy for that. Third, you are more irritable or sensitive than usual. Perhaps you are snapping at people. You're triggered easily by various situations, by what people say to you. Next, you get headaches, muscle tensions, and stomach issues. This is a very common response when we are getting stressed out, especially with the chronic stress. The next one is you avoid social situations. It's not a trait of your character, but more like it's a difference to how usually you behave. If you don't mind social situations, if you do like to go out from time to time and meet with friends, here you feel you don't have any motivation, any interest to do that anymore. The next one is you zone out often and you forget things. It seems like you have memory problems, lapses, and you cannot pay attention to what people are saying to you. So that's another sign of stress. The next one is if you are spiritual, suddenly you feel distant from God, from the divine source, from that connection, from those meditations or prayers that you do. Now you don't feel like doing them. You don't feel the reason why you should do them. So the next one is you overeat or you undereat. It disrupts the way you look at food and your behavior towards the food. Perhaps you binge and you can notice that you eating way too much, or like I said, not enough. And you are scrolling too much on the phone because that's mindless activity which we use as distraction. And the next one is you feel not good enough, no matter what you do. And the last sign is you feel like you're just surviving, not living. So have a look at these 10 signs and see which ones you can relate to, which you recognize in your own life right now. So why it happens? We know that in psychology, stress accumulates when we have emotional needs and they are unmet. What does it mean when stress accumulates when emotional needs are not met? That means that maybe you need some reassurance in what you do. Maybe you need some encouragement. Maybe you need some support with whatever you do and wherever you're going, whatever the plan is. And you are not finding it. You're not finding the outlet to vent your worries or concerns, your complaints and your troubles. You don't have someone that you can communicate with openly about what's bothering you inside. Or perhaps you just need a break because you're so tired from everything that's happening in your life and you cannot find the way that you can organize that break where you can take some breather from your chaotic life. If you are new in your spiritual journey, and especially if you come to Islam, if you're a new Muslim, then there is added pressure and stress from people who don't understand you. And you're going through this transitionary identity change. And that's a big one. And this is why I'm creating all these videos to support you in a way that through learning about psychology and psychological theories, you might feel a bit better about what you're going through. Change impacts us significantly. This is a source of stress. Identity change particularly. It can take time. It will affect you from different sources. People are not supporting you, people don't understand you, plus you are changing inside and out. And you might be going from tears to feeling excited, to feeling grateful, to again back to tears and sadness and so on. And this is normal when you're going through identity transition. So here's what you can do. You need to recognize these signs of stress in you and try to name the feeling. What it is you are feeling right now. What you are feeling day to day. Are you worn out? Are you heading for burnout? Are you stressed out chronically? Are you getting frustrated, upset, not appreciated enough? The next, you need to take breath pauses. So deep belly breathing. as often as you can during the day. Try to cut those things that overwhelm you. Whether they're exciting or not, you need to take a break from them. So do less of them, not more. We get excited, especially when we start some new project. I know this from my own experience. We want to do so much in one day that it actually doesn't do us any service. We are getting even more stressed out. It affects our sleep. It affects our eating habits. It affects our sense of happiness and well-being. Try to find support, those people who support you, whether it's a spiritual group, Islamic group, sisterhood, or whether you are doing journaling or counseling. Consider it. So your stress, it's not something that is detrimental and negative. In fact, it's the way that your body is trying to signal you that you need to take a break, otherwise you will be heading for burnout. If you listen to my other story on this video, the one that is linked to actually near-death experience, this is when I was getting so stressed out chronically that eventually I had an awful case of ulcerative colitis, the one that really sent me to the brink of this life, of this reality. The main point is that I didn't recognize the signs. And this is what I wanted to leave you with. Please recognize when you need a break, when you need to speak to somebody, and do anything possible to create that time only for yourself, to nourish yourself, your body, your mind, your soul. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in my next video.